Hey everybody, this is Captain Kyle and I have the knockoff Computron gift set to check out for you today. Yes, it's a knockoff, it looks genuine, but it is not released officially by Hasbro, though you wouldn't be able to tell looking at the box. We're gonna go through it, look at each character, look at Computron himself, and see if it's cool. Be right back. So looking at this gift set, it is definitely a great replica of the original Computron gift set. Now, I had it back in the day when it first came out. I bought it all separately because all the little guys were carded, and then we had Scattershot in a box. So we're gonna check out each of these guys, see if they're any good. This is actually one of my favorite sets that combine into a larger robot. And I will admit, I already took it out so that I could put the stickers on it so it would look good for you guys. But one thing about the packaging, like the other sets, it has all the tech specs on the back. It actually says copyright 1987 Hasbro. So they apparently got the print files to print this out. It actually has the artwork showing Fort Max and all the other kind of Season 4 Headmasters and Series 4 as well. And it's definitely a nice display piece. So if you get it, mess around with it, and then put it back in, which can be very easily accomplished, it's a great set to actually display. Well, let's get into the guys. Now, one thing, this did not come with the factory stickers. So I may have to go ahead and contact one of those repro places and see if they have factory stickers for Computron. It did come with the regular stickers, which I put on, but there are a few stickers that should be here that aren't. Now, unlike some of the other sets, there's no little holes in the back to poke these guys out, so I'm just gonna pull them out one by one. And in some cases, they are not transformed exactly the way they should be, but we'll fix that when we're taking a look at them. Now, for those who follow the G1 comic, the Technobots were actually built very quickly by Grimlock, of all people, during a battle with Decepticons inside the head of Unicron. Now, what's interesting is previous to that, we saw Vector Sigma when they came out with Superion and Menasor, but there was none of that when the Technobots showed up. They were built very quickly to face off against Abominus, who is the merged form of all the Terrorcons. And the Terrorcons, they didn't explain where they came from. It's just kind of insinuated that they were created by the Quintessons and then ended up joining the Decepticons. They have a lot of problems with human resources with the Quintesson organization. So it comes with all the pieces for Computron. It comes with a bag with all the weapons for all the little guys. And of course it comes with Scattershot. So we'll go through these one at a time and give them their weapons. And I'll also fix the transformations. For example, Lightspeed's arms are pointed in the wrong direction, as are Afterburners. So let's see if we can get those pointed the right way. Now, the joints are tight on these guys, which they're brand new toys, so kind of to be expected. Nosecone seems to be in good shape, and then we have Strafe. We'll start out with, and to make him complete, he has these two guns that hook in vehicle mode, that plug into his shoulders in robot mode, but basically form a very cool double blasting tech jet, I guess it would be. It's obviously not exactly a normal Earth airplane, but definitely has wings you can recognize as a jet. As I mentioned, there's no factory stickers. There were some stickers on the original that were on the wings. Again, I'll look into those. And just like a lot of these reissue sets that aren't genuine Hasbro products, the rub sign, which actually the rub sign seems to work somewhat, but those I had to put on myself. Genuine Hasbro reissues have the rub signs in place, so that's a way to tell if someone tries to pass this off as a real one. Well, it's indeed real, but it's actually not a genuine Hasbro product, so that's what I mean by not real. But looking at Strafe, he's really nice. I like him so far. You know, exactly feels like an original. Just missing those stickers. He does come with a weapon for robot mode, which I will be using shortly. And the plastic seems pretty white, normal, brand new out of the box things, so don't put it in the window. No sunlight. So the transformation on these guys is very simple, and the posability is pretty bad. There he is transformed with his gun. Now you can unplug these cannons if you want, and they actually do have posts on them if you want him to carry those instead of the smaller gun. The right hand one seems a little loose. They both seem a little loose, so, but not horribly so. I can't shake them out, but I can pretty easily push them around and get them to fall out, which may be the case with the original anyway. But a very cool looking figure, posability. Well, if you move his arms up, he can look up in the sky. His head obviously doesn't turn, but his arms you can move up and down. And yes, the posability on the newer figures is much better. In the old days, we had to use our imagination to basically pretend that he was posable. And the only kick he could really do would be like a drop kick. So Strafe seems pretty quality. We'll put him over there, and let's check out Lightspeed, the car of my dreams. Okay, maybe not, but he's a cool looking car. He comes with 2 weapons that you can attach in vehicle mode. A little tight getting him in there, but hey, better than 2 loose. So he's a cool tech car, futuristic car. He rolls. So he's a pretty good vehicle. Now I'll take off the weapons, and his gun is interesting because it looks like a little machine gun, which is a kind of neat, different type of weapon for a lot of the Transformers. Seems to transform easily enough, a little tight in some areas. Getting the feet out is turning out to be a little bit of a challenge. But they got out, flip him up, and there he is in robot mode with his machine gun. Wise guy, eh? Again, his legs, I mean, he has 2 legs, but they kind of merge together here, so you can't do anything with the legs. You can move the arms up and down. He's got this backpack, so not like Dora, but he's a pretty cool robot. The backpack makes him lean a little bit to the back, but I also just got a new vinyl style tablecloth, so that's not helping any. But decent in his vehicle mode and his robot mode. Nosecone. So he's supposed to be able to drill some places. I mean, looking at the size of the drill, I mean, if he drilled into something, then the treads get caught and everything else. So it's a nice fictional device, but it doesn't really work out. He has these 2 weapons that you can plug in on the sides that go right above the treads. So he's pretty well armed for combat against Terrorcons or wherever else he needs to fight. Now, I'm gonna push back his treads a little because they weren't quite in position. But he rolls. You can hear the little wheels on the bottom of the treads because the treads don't actually work like treads. And again, feels pretty quality. As far as robot mode, we'll remove his larger weapons, flip back the nose cone for nose cone, and plug his weapon. It has a side peg that plugs in to his hand so he can fire and do whatever he wants. So interestingly enough, I've just noticed in here, they gave me an extra gun for our dear friend Strafe, and 2 guns for Afterburner. I don't know why, but, you know, extra guns. They seem pretty much like the G1s, so I could possibly trade them to other people. I would let them know they're reissues, but if they need a gun, hey, why not? We'll put the extras aside. This brings us to Afterburner, one of the coolest motorcycles that looks like he's from Tron. He looks like one of the Tron motorcycles, but not the same color, being orange and all. He kind of rolls. You can adjust his front wheel a bit to make him roll more easily. You put him flat out, he kind of scrapes. So moving down the front wheel a little bit for his motorcycle mode makes him roll pretty smoothly. He comes with 2 rather large weapons that plug into his sides. One is a big honking gun, and the other appears to be a double missile launcher. But a good motorcycle, well armed. Again, it's a technical motorcycle. Kind of if it's a motorcycle or is it just a large 2-wheeled vehicle? Because if he's a motorcycle and he's supposed to have a human in their motorcycle style, again, he's not quite in proportion. Similar to Groove with the Technobots, but still a cool transformer. I'm gonna take off the big honking weapons and quickly transform him into robot mode. So the arms move, they're a little stiff, and again, it's got the side post thing for his gun, which also seems to have some type of clip, but not quite a machine gun. And again, you can move his arms. You can move his head forward, but not in any natural humanoid way. So who knows what's natural for robots? Overall, a very cool looking transformer and an exact duplicate of the G1. So if you like G1 Transformers, this might be the set for you. And now we have Scattershot, who's this interesting plane, very futuristic looking, not quite sure where a pilot would go or how big this is supposed to be. If you press the button, let's see. It opens up into his mega cannon, or I don't know if there's an official name. It's probably somewhere either in the tech spec or I don't know. If you know what this cannon's called, please comment below, let me know, because I'm too lazy to find it. But that's a cool cannon that pops out and retracts as you close it. There's a little bit of flash or it could be styrofoam on the figure. There we go, it's styrofoam. Styrofoam packaging, not exactly eco-friendly. He also has these guns that you can put into the slots where normally heads would go. So he can have an additional gun on top and even an additional gun on the bottom. So as he's flying a boot, he can, I'm not from Canada, just said a boot. He can fire these as well. He does have landing gear, which seems to be a little tough to get out, but it came out. He can't really land with the bottom gun in, so I'm gonna pop that out. But with the landing gear, he can actually land in place and he's not flopped forward onto his nose. So again, looks pretty much like the G1 one to me. So before we go into robot mode, he does have an additional mode. You know, I just checked the instructions because I wanted to make sure to get his additional mode right. And apparently when he's an attack jet, something I never knew is you could attach the chest shield on the bottom. So he had skids, and you're supposed to only attach one of the guns on the top. So this is apparently the attack jet. I never actually attached this to the bottom, but that is interesting that he can use that, fly around, and he doesn't even really need the landing gear, he just lands there. So that's kind of neat. Learn something new every day. So his third mode is called the rocket launcher. Not that there's any rockets. And you can take Computron's chest shield and put it in front as kind of a blast shield, and then there we go. He launches rockets, I guess? I don't know, it looks more like a laser cannon. I never attached the chest shield to the front when I put him in this mode. It was just, he changed into a cannon, blasted, and then went on from there. You know, as you do. But that is the official rocket launcher. And I don't see why you can't just put this in the top and have an additional gun, but apparently the instructions say not to. Whatevs. But after all that, let's get him into robot mode. And he has a big gun, and you can also add the other guns on there as additional weapons. I always thought he was one of the coolest of the Transformers Autobot main leaders, because you could have him kneel, go down on one knee, propose to somebody, or shoot someone. I do have to say the gun is a little tight in his hand and doesn't seem to like to stay. But he could actually move his arm from side to side. Doesn't really have elbows, but you can move the arms back and forth. Can't turn the head, but he can twist a little bit, slightly, at the waist. Unfortunately, the big cannon in the back kind of keeps him from turning more. When you're transforming him, he twists that way as part of the transformation, but when he's in robot mode, doesn't really allow him to do much with that particular joint. But still, I always thought he was one of the coolest of the leaders and just a cool Autobot on his own. Joints feel pretty tight, and there you have Scattershot, leader of the Technobots. But I know what you want. You want Computron, who has amazing computational ability, but until Grimlock gave up his intelligence, he didn't have the wisdom or intelligence to use it. So obviously I gotta remove these little guns on the side in order to form Computron. One other thing I always liked about Scattershot is he's got this little double weapon on his fist. So it's kind of a neat additional weapon. I just always liked that. Just so much to this guy. But all right, I was saying Computron, we're getting there. Now, the way I always transformed him in the way that he was on the cartoon, I believe, Nosecone and Lightspeed made up the legs, and Strafe and Afterburner made up the arms. Of course, you can switch, mix and match, even hook up Terrorcons to this bad boy. Now, when I am adding Strafe on as an arm, I add the weapons back, but I kind of leave him extended a little bit just so he has longer arms. I have to say, this gun handles a little thick, but I managed to get it into the fist. And there you have him, Computron. Now he's got these really big jets on the back, so I guess he could fly, but he's a very cool looking transformer. Unlike some of the others that have a variety of colors, his kind of have the same similar red, orange, white scheme, so he looks a little bit more cohesive, but still overall a great figure. Now, I just happen to have the newer Computron, I think Combiner Wars, Titans Return, something like that. And as you can see, the new one is a little taller. And he has some extra guys, but the old one seems a little bit more solid, even if the newer Computron probably has a little bit more posability. But as far as this Computron is concerned, I mean, you can move the arms because they're the legs of Scattershot. You can move them back and forth. So overall, I'm saying this is a really good knockoff replica of a G1 Computron. Did have a little trouble getting the gun in, but comes with all the pieces. In fact, some extra pieces for whatever reason. I will say the fist is a little bit loose when you plug it into the bottom of Afterburner, but it's not like so loose that it's just gonna fall out on its own. You can knock it off, but I'd say most of the people who are gonna want this particular toy aren't gonna be so rough with their collection that it matters all that much. So great to display in the box, great to display merged, great to display separately. This is a very cool reissue knockoff. Again, it's not made by Hasbro, so you're not gonna have the guarantee of quality, well, at least in compliance with, you know, US laws that Hasbro adheres to. But it seems pretty much identical to the original, so I'm not seeing much of a problem as far as quality, except the fist. There are ways to fix that. You can put a little bit of sticky tack on it. You can put a little bit of Scotch tape around it and trim it, make it a little bit thicker on the post. But overall, I'm pleased with this. The lack of factory stickers is definitely a minus, but I have a really good shape, white, not yellowed, Computron as part of my collection. This guy cost me as a gift set $84.99. I bought him with the Defensor gift set. I didn't have to pay any shipping, which was nice. So 90 bucks for a fake reissue. I mean, for the quality, I think it's a pretty good price. So I'm putting a link down in the description. If you want to pick up this gift set, they also have other gift sets. They have Bruticus and they have Superion. I got them through eBay. I'll link to eBay. I'll also link to AliExpress, which also has these sets. Whichever one you prefer. Shipping times may vary, but it's still cheaper than getting an original one in the gift box and in such good condition with all the accessories. You don't have to hunt for anything. So it's kind of nice. So while you're waiting for Computron to figure things out, we have some other videos over here. I'll be fixing that post. You can also comment. We love comments. Let me know what you think about the amazing shooting fist. It's like Transor Z. You can subscribe down there. There's comment, like, definitely like. We'll see you next time. As always, have fun and good hunting.